Hey Restored fam, it's Andy here, and whether you're in LA or South San Diego, Denver or South Africa, or even if you're all the way over in India, it's a privilege to be sharing with you today. I'm reporting to you live from the chapel of a location where we might plant our next church in the near future. And recently I was reflecting back on our very first gathering for our very first Restored Church in San Diego over 11 years ago now. And there were only 12 of us who met at this YMCA on this random afternoon. And I remember after that gathering, someone joked, I don't think half of these people are coming back next week. And most of them didn't. It was a humbling beginning, but that didn't stop us from having a dream of planting multiplying Jesus-centered churches. And by Jesus' grace, that's exactly what we've seen happen. Today, as a family of churches, we average over 1,200 people who attend our Sunday gatherings across 9 communities on 3 continents. That means we have multiplied by 1,000. But with growth comes challenges and complexity. As many of us know, there are far too many problems in the church today. Things like churches dividing over politics, leadership failures, abuse cover-ups, pastors burning out, and churches replacing the gospel message with ideology that they nabbed off of TikTok or a news channel. Now, we're committed to not letting that become our story, but it doesn't mean it can't be. Because church family, we have to humbly admit that history and scripture warn us about the risks of not paying attention to our life and doctrine, of slowly drifting away from the gospel of and way of Jesus. Nothing causes churches and people to drift like success and growth. So numerical growth can unintentionally cause you to see people that you're supposed to love and values you're supposed to cherish fall through the cracks, and you end up not finishing how you began. Now, we're grateful for growth because it represents people meeting Jesus and being loved in the family of Jesus and being commissioned into their unique calling that Jesus has for them. But to accommodate our expanding family, we need to develop more of an infrastructure. I think about this idea that, like when a couple is newly married, it's easy for just the 2 of them to go on a trip in a fairly spontaneous way. You might even be able to go off season to a tourist destination and book your rooms when you get there, when there's 2 of you. But as your family grows and you add, say, 2, 3, 4 more kids to the picture, your old way of organizing trips doesn't work like it used to because your family has grown. They don't desire to be less relational, but you have to get more organized. And our family of churches requires more infrastructure and formal systems to help us pay attention to and protect what is most important. Now, we don't want to lose our relational family feel, but we don't want to be a dysfunctional family either. We want to be a thriving, healthy family that's organized to best meet the needs of each member of that family and to love each other and the world well. And so that leads to this year's Give Love. This year's initiative is about setting up a healthy foundation for a healthy future. My wife remembers in 8th grade that an engineer came, a civil engineer came who would plan freeways. And he said, we build roads in places before they're needed. And in the same way, I believe God is calling us to build roads in places before they're needed or just as they're being needed in our family of churches. And I think we want to build roads before we need them, so to speak, in 4 key areas. The first one is in church health and safety. We're putting in solid plans for keeping everyone safe and cared for, including teams, policies, and systems for conflict mediation, in addition to things like having universal standards for sexual and spiritual abuse prevention and reporting. Another area is leader health and care, the second area. Healthy churches start with healthy leaders, so we want to create teams and systems to care for leaders while also holding them accountable. Third, we want to zoom in on theological health and clarity. Again, with so many narratives and ideologies out there today, we need a team to help us get a clearer doctrinal picture on paper that helps us navigate our culture's messages, but also is flexible enough for us to, for each church to decide where it stands on secondary issues. And then lastly the 4th area is church planning, health, and sustainability. We want to keep planning churches, but we want to do so in a way where no one burns out. And this means we need more leaders, more finances, and support systems to draw from, to equip and care for church plants and planters. And so to build out a robust structure for the future, we want to raise $125,000 for the family of churches this year. We've never raised capital expenses, but we've never raised money before for the family of churches. And so we wanted to do that this year. And that's going to be happening on May 19th, which is Give Love Sunday. So this Give Love, will you help us lay healthy foundations for a healthy future? Will you help us build roads to go where God's calling us to go next? To take the goodness and beauty of Jesus wherever it is that he calls us to go next. And so we want to build together, but it starts by giving love together. And so I look forward to doing that May 19th with you. Love you, church family, and we'll see you then.